we're in a buyer's market for really that move up buyer. And so want to kind of draw a parallel to what's sort of happening right now. I think that a lot of the markets and a lot of the country, we are talking about inventory, and we talk about it on the show week in and week out, that there's just not a lot of inventory. So yes, we're seeing bidding wars and things like that, which is great when you go to sell your property. And we talk about that, right? You always want to be a seller in this type of market, but oh my God, what do you do when you got to turn around and buy a new property?
That is a challenge, and sellers are scared because they don't want to be homeless, essentially.
Well, what I'll tell you is there's a buyer's market in the upper echelon as you're looking to move up. So if you're looking to list your condo that you bought maybe in 2010, 11, you have amassed a ton of equity in that property. Right. If you take it from there and where we're at today, a ton of equity. Now, what we're saying is when you get up into the move up buyer kind of realm, and again, that could be $800,000 in some markets, that could be $2 million in some markets, but that has softened. That is where you're not going to be bumping into 50 people at an open house. There might be one or two people that you may see. They're not bidding wars when you get up into those upper markets. So for people that are sitting on all of this equity, now by selling your house in this crazy market where you're going to get top dollar, right? Now you're taking it and you might buy, again, in that upper echelon of that market where you have negotiation power.
That's a really, really good point. Interesting point, because you are sitting on a ton of equity with your home, and you really ought to talk to established, seasoned, full-time real estate agents that would be able to define what those high luxury markets are and whether they are soft or not, because we've had these agents in the studio in the past. For example, one of the markets that they had highlighted to us was Weston and Wellesley. There were a high number of construction that was happening, tremendous number of holes in the wall, for a lack of a better word, and not enough buyers trying to get those off the market. Yeah. And that created a bit of a softening in that price range.
Yeah, so if you bought a house in Weston in 2010, you may have paid $600,000 for it. I'm just using round numbers, but let's say it's worth $1 million. Okay. Well, there's a ton of equity there. So if you wanted to go buy a $2 million home, which is part of the price point we talked about in Weston.
Exactly.
But if you're bringing $400,000 or $500,000 with you, okay, to pay down that, now interest rates are still at crazy low rates. So you lock in that. I mean, listen, I'd want my $2 million property appreciate at 4 or 5% than my $700,000 3 or 4 or 5%. So that's one strategy. One of the other strategies I'm working a lot with clients that are looking to move up is everybody thinks, okay, I'm gonna sell my home, I'm gonna move up, and I'm gonna take all of that equity out, and I'm gonna throw it on the next mortgage.
And we're here to say that may not necessarily be the right move for you.
Well, not if you want to create wealth.
Right, exactly. Now, we're not financial advisors, and I'm not going to pretend to be a financial advisor, but I think we can put you in touch with a financial advisor, and with a combination of a good mortgage plan, you can utilize enough of that equity that you've built over time to be able to acquire this step up that you're referring to, and then take the balance and diversify it in the market, potentially.
Well, you market. I've got a lot of clients that say, I've got $400,000 I'm taking out of my home, but I'm going to put 20% down on the next property because at the end of the day, I can afford that payment. That payment's comfortable for me, still. But now I've got another $200,000 sitting on the sideline. So what do you do? Now, I'll tell you, there's no rate of return in home equity. Okay? Home equity, there's no rate of return there. So do I take that and I do a couple things? I can give it to my financial guy because he might be able to get X amount of percentage on my money. Or do I call my real estate agent and do I start looking for an investment property? Do I start looking for some passive income? $200,000 can buy a very nice multifamily, can buy a beautiful multifamily building.
Right.
So and then now you've got another place that's spitting off equity, appreciation, and and I'll tell you, there's some real estate agents that we work with that absolutely get it. And by the way, a lot of people, I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to deal with the phone calls. Guess what? You don't have to, because there's people out there. There's one in the studio today. We can talk about it, but property management. There's guys out there that will do it for you. So literally, you can try to create as much turnkey as possible. So I'm here to say it's a buyer's market.
I really
Just
like
in
that
some-
angle.
just
It's a
in some
buyer's
markets.
market for step up, and I think it all goes back to having an initial dialogue with the mortgage planner. Call 855-4ASK-RIC, and he can walk you through this entire process and get you pre-approved. That lowers your anxiety and know exactly where your affordability may lie. And also having a clear and concise conversation with a seasoned real estate agent that's going to be able to tell you how much equity you're sitting in and what you can do with it.
Yeah. So again, text the word sell to 617-548-7425. Sell to 617-548-7425. No obligation, but if you are looking to find out how much equity you have in your property, Ali and I will put you in touch with an agent who specializes in your market to give you that number and see if it makes sense. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, listen, if you're actually planning on making a move, and we're talking about Somerville, we're talking about Medford, we're talking about Brookline, you know, we have a capable, seasoned real estate agent in the studio that you can take advantage of. Gene Bernstein, he's here to talk to us about what it takes to be able to make the move on buying an investment property and what are some of the pitfalls that you should avoid.
And he's with Rise Realty. Stay tuned. Be right back.